Hello everyone, we are continuing on with our NHL team season previews and we will be talking about the Ottawa Senators today. Now before we start, please make sure to subscribe if you are new, you're interested in my content. I'm hopefully wanting to be able to do this as a full-time career one day and would really appreciate your support if you're interested. If not, that's completely fine. Now let's talk about the Sens. And Ottawa is coming off a 5th consecutive season without playoff hockey, with a record of 33, 42, and 7, giving them a 73-point campaign and a 7th place finish in the Atlantic Division. However, Pierre Diorin has not been sitting idly by his GM spot and has made some really big moves in this offseason to try to give his team a chance at postseason hockey. So he went out and got Alex DeBrincat and an absolute steal of a trade with the Chicago Blackhawks, and then got Claude Giroux, who is an Ontario native, who signed a 3-year, $19.5 million deal, and we finally got to see Giroux sign with Ottawa. It felt like it was reported, for years, and here we are. And this might just be exactly what the franchise needed to get a shot in the arm and rolling in the right direction, as these two are projected to play on the team's second line, and I am loving it. In DeBrincat, the team's getting a potential start. A lot of people know that. He is a 24-year-old who has scored the 10th most goals in the past 3 seasons and is coming off a 41-goal campaign, which was good enough for 14th in the league, which blows my mind. You scored 41 goals and you're 14th in the league, not even top 10, but yeah, it was a great year for him. He's got a great shot, as evidenced by his career shooting percentage of 15.5%, 15.5%, and 368 career regular season games. And he also could be a big boost for the Sens on the man advantage, as he has a career year with 14 goals on the power play last season, which would give him the second highest total on this team, just behind Josh Norris. So that is a plus, getting another guy that could help you on the power play, especially since Ottawa ranked 20th in the league last season with a power play percentage of 19.34%. Now, I can't say that his power play success will roll right on over, as things are a little bit weird. You have to learn a new system, how the power play might be ran, and of course he played a lot of time with Patrick Kane in Chicago on the man advantage, and that is kind of a thing you talk about. Well, Kane is a big power play guy, etc. I will say that while maybe he won't have a 20-goal campaign on the power play or anything like that, I do think that he's going to come in and help his team, especially on the rush, and help elevate their level of play. So I'd have to say that I think they're going to get a good year from number 12. That is going to be his number for them. As for Giroux, they're getting a player that is old, but he is still easily a top six worthy player. And Giroux is, of course, known for his ability to play center or out on the wing, and is definitely their best face-off guy before he even hits the ice for the first time with his new teammates. Last season, off the draw, he had a face-off percentage of 60.3%, which was miles ahead of anyone on Ottawa's roster that took a reasonable number of face-offs. Now, that's just one part of his game, and by adding him, you get a player who still makes an impact at both ends of the ice, and you really could use that if you're the Senators. This is a team that has not traditionally the past few years had great defensive numbers, and that defensive impact is especially important too, as they have just, again, had some struggles there. He's also a player that drew 24 penalties last season, which was good for 58th in the league while only having 13 penalties called against him. That's a plus. And he was in the 271st category for minutes in the league, I believe. And this is all averaging about 19 minutes a night, so that is really good. I know he played, I think, a less time with the Panthers, but he played considerable minutes, especially considering his age, and it's another reason in general that this team should be happy. He has got minutes, still playing quality minutes in a good amount of time, even at 34. When he was out on the ice last year too, good things happened. For the most part, I know Philly was kind of a dumpster fire, but he had a scoring chance for percentage of 57.98%, which was 80th in the league for forwards that played at least 200 minutes. And I would continue to go on this one, but I think we all know that Giroux is still a very good player and should have yet another quality season if he's able to play a top 6 role for them and get consistent minutes on the power play. Thumbs up and congratulations again for Dorian for getting these two. Moving on from them, though, we will be talking about some other areas of the team as well, one of them being the blue line. Now, this is an area I do think could kind of make or break the team this year. This is especially true because of some of the younger guys that are going to get minutes and maybe even considerable minutes for the franchise. The two players we'll be talking about is Erik Brännström and then the very intriguing player Jake Sanderson, and those two are kind of in different perspectives. Brännström is in a more so situation where he needs to take over and control this year and really grab it by the reins and get going, because he was a former first round pick, 15th overall pick in 2017, and has played 116 career NHL games, and in that time has 2 goals and 29 assists for 31 points. And when you look at his career, he's attempted 358 shots, but only 166 have been on goal, meaning only about 46.4% of his shots are on goal, and that's not really a recipe for success, especially considering where he's consistently firing them, and that is towards the blue line. You're taking low percentage shots and you're not getting a lot of them to go on net. A lot of them were blocked, especially last year, but in general, things are going to have to change for him if he is going to stay in Canada's capital, or things could be done in that situation as well. He will be given a spot though in the top 4 as of right now for this season, and I'm not really sold on his offensive game coming to life, but I hope it does, especially the goal scoring aspect. But the reality is we have seen the first round pick and what he's done in Ottawa, and we know, hey, he's an RFA. He wants to probably be able to get paid either with the Sens or wherever he could possibly go, and the team really could use help on the blue line. Kind of a match made in heaven. We need you, you need us, and I'm hoping that extra motivation will be able to help him out, but we'll see. Now for Sanderson, he is a talking point here because he could be a big part of not only the blue line but the franchise in general going forward, and comparing him with guys like Charlie McAvoy and Cale Makar seems to be kind of where we're headed here. I think in general a lot of people really are hyping him up. I'm not going to go that far yet just because I don't know if that's exactly what I would say, because that's pretty bold to say you're up there with Makar and McAvoy, but he does have a 53% chance of being a guy that plays 200 plus NHL games in the league according to Hockey Prospecting. And he also has a 22% chance of being a blue liner that plays and gets at least 0.45 points per game, which is a really big deal for guys that are on the blue line. So we'll have to see. I know that may not seem like a high chance, but again, it's based on a variety of things, and we still haven't seen him play a single game at the NHL level. So we'll wait. The most intriguing point of Sanderson's game, though, is his goal scoring ability. If you look at a lot of the D-men for Ottawa, there's not really anyone that strikes you as a goal scorer. Now, Chabot at the moment is probably the most dangerous in that regard, and the best season he had came in 2018-19, and that's where he had 14 from the blue line. If Sanderson can do more for this group in terms of goal scoring, he makes them a little less toothless, a little bit more, of an impact player in that regard to help them out. And while he's projected to be played in a third pairing role, though, I couldn't imagine him being there in that role the whole season. I would have to say I would expect his role to continue to grow if he plays well. But like I said, these are two players that are young and could be the difference for their team on the back end. And I really do hope they are able to solidify that for them. But I'm really not sure how to go. I'm really hoping for the best. And now the final talking point for this preview before I give you my closing thoughts are in net. This is where the Senators still don't have a true franchise goalie at the moment between the pipes, and the hope is that the 35-year-old Cam Talbot can provide some relief in net. Really just stability, that is what they need. Talbot, of course, comes over after having played with the Minnesota Wild last season, and it ended a little ugly over there in the state of hockey, as it appears he wasn't super thrilled to take on a backup / fill-in role behind Marc-Andre Fleury with his former team. Now, he's got to be thrilled in a sense because he's coming over to Ottawa and he's projected to be the starter. It's a little intriguing because I think Anton Forsberg will be behind him. I could see Forsberg kind of going in there and taking over the role personally if he's able to play better than Talbot did at stretches last season. In my opinion, I think especially for Talbot, he could struggle for his new team because Minnesota was a much better team defensively, and yes, some of the new additions may help out defensively, but I do think they're not going to be able to make up entirely for the defensive woes for the team. Plus, Cam really hasn't been a workhorse for a franchise since the 2017-18 season with the Oilers, where he started 67 games. Not only did he start 67, he played all of those. He didn't just go in and play 67, he started all 67 games for them. Now for Forsberg, he could be a big bonus to share the workload, and I think they could be a very good pair if they're able to balance it out, not have any ego issues, and both play well. But they still need to focus on finding their goalie of the future, but they might have it. They have a second-round pick from the 2019 draft, a Danish goalie that I've heard about that they are very high on, said some really good things about him, but he's probably not going to be here this season, and if he is, it's probably going to be for a handful of games at best. But that could be a minute away, like I said, but I'm really hoping he gets a shot. As of right now, though, we're looking at Forsberg and Talbot being the guys in the pipes. Having said all this, though, do I think the Senators could make the playoffs? My answer is maybe. And here's why. The Atlantic, like I've said in a lot of these videos, are a toss-up. You have a variety of really good teams that I do think could make the playoffs and possibly even win a cup, some of them. But the reality is you just got to be healthy, you got to go on runs, and you got to make the most of it. I do think they're going to be better, but you look at their bottom six, and you're kind of wondering, will that be enough, along with the blue line still gonna, have to develop there, and also the situation in between the pipes. Now, I do think there are some guys. Sanderson could be a big factor for the team this year if he's able to get a footing and take over a top 4 role, and again, get some goal scoring for them, for their blue liners. But also an X factor, if I had to pick one, maybe Matthew Joseph could come in on a third line role and get a really good chance to be an impact player for them in a top 9 forward position or role. Like I said, third line hasn't really had a great chance in Tampa Bay. Hoping that he can get one here with Ottawa. He could be an X factor to help them, have a little bit more depth, but we'll have to see. I truly believe, though, this team will be more exciting, and there's no way they finish with a lower point total than last year. But I want to hear your comments down below. Do you think the Senators will make the playoffs? Let me know down below. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody, please stay safe. Have a great night, and you go off hockey all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.